Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Glassman's World. So thank you guys so much for tuning in earlier and checking out the live stream of my music. I haven't played any music in a really long time, so I appreciate you guys checking that out and listening. If you haven't, it's the last live stream. I only do live streams these days pretty much. Once in a while I may upload um, a video or short or something like that, but usually I pretty much just go live these days, do live streams. So you get it all in real time. So if there's any mistakes or any kind of this or that, whatever, well, that's what happens. We're gonna get started here. I was hoping to make some memorial glass, but I realized that I'm out of my dichroic glass. I don't have enough glass. I'd like to keep them all pretty much about the same. And I have a bunch of little scrap pieces of dichro. And this is what dichro is. It's a special glass. Dichro meaning two chromium, two colors. And so basically some of these have three colors, but usually it's like a different color. So this one here is like what I can't even read that. Green and magenta. So there's green and magenta right there. That's the only one that's got a label. The rest of them, I don't know. This could be green and magenta as well, because they look pretty similar. And this one might also be green or purple and magenta. That one's a little bit different. And then this one here is way different. So I could make them all a little bit different here and there, but I need to make 14 of them, and there's not enough dichro to make 14. So I'm gonna have to just wait until Tuesday, not Monday, but Tuesday, to actually get some new glass supply, because they're gonna be closed for Labor Day weekend. I don't think they're open today. I could maybe try to hit them up and see if they're open. Actually, that wouldn't be too bad of an idea. So I made some of these really cool. I'm calling them ganja green, and it's a like a really light green, and a kind of like a forest green or something like that, jade green or forest green. So these two color sticks right here that I'm utilizing. So let's get started here and make some glass. I might just make some more of these, because those are really cool. Here, we'll put them on the mirror. Okay. So I got the kiln up to temperature. Things are good. Make sure my chair is good and I'm comfortable. All right, so we're gonna get started here. So I have an order to fill of 100 glass balloons, guys. I thought I was gonna be making 14 of the memorial glass, but instead today we're gonna be working on these glass balloons here. They take about 15 minutes each. So I make about 4 an hour. And to make 100 of these, that's going to take me 25 hours worth of work. You know, that's not including breaks in between and things like that. So it's possible I can get these all done during the weekend, but that's highly unlikely, because that would be 12 hours straight on the torch. And the last time I worked 12 hours straight on the torch, it sent me to the hospital, which wasn't cool. That was back in like the year, I think it was like 2000. And went to Florida, and I was staying up for hours the day before, trying to crank out as much glass as I possibly could to take it out there with me, because I figured, well, I'm gonna be going to Florida. I'll find some new shops out there and get some new wholesale accounts. I used to do that. I used to ship out glass all over the country to different shops here and there. And then I really just realized that it was like a little bit too much for one man to supply. And then I also decided I was going to pull away from doing too much wholesale and trying to do more retail. And so I kind of let a lot of my wholesale accounts go. I really don't have any, not too many. But the ones that I do have, they do place really nice large orders to keep me going. So I'm really grateful for that. Being that this is the green ones here, I'm calling it ganja green, right? And being that that's what this is here, these are made specifically for a local dispensary, which is really cool, guys. This has nothing to do with the balloon shop. You know, this isn't like the balloon museum here, or the main souvenir shop with the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. This has nothing to do with the Discover Balloons location and any of their stuff. This is a dispensary, guys. A local dispensary that realizes my glass sells, for one thing. They picked up one order from me before, and it was for my original $5 mushrooms. And I don't know if they kept the price at $5 or if they brought it up to $7. I personally don't have any involvement. Once I sell it to anyone, you can resell it for whatever you'd like. If you get $1 million for it, well, that's on you. So I don't know if they sold them for $5 or if they brought them up to $7 or more or whatever, but they sold out on all of them. It only took a few months, and I was away for a while. I didn't have my driver's license. I was waiting for the motor vehicle department to finally send my license in the mail. I didn't realize that when you go, maybe it was because I went to one of those, what do they call them, like the fast checkout, the rapid DMVs or whatever. I forget what they call them here. The Express, the DMV Express. And you pay a little bit more for their services, so you can like get in and get out without too long of a wait. Most people go there, so there's still a wait. I didn't know that I was gonna be spending like $20 or $30 extra on my license and on the registration for the vehicle and things like that. I could have just, spent the time to go to a regular DMV. I think when you go to a regular DMV, they actually issue your ID there. But at the DMV Express, they said that we'll send your ID, your new driver's license, in the mail within like 2 weeks or something like that. And I'm like, okay. Like, now I don't have an ID. You just punched a hole in my other ID, which then became like expired, right, or invalid. So I'm like, okay, well, I got a temporary piece of paper ID that they gave me, a copy, like on a piece of paper. So I'm like, okay, well, cool. I got my ID, or my driver's license, in a paper form. If I were to get pulled over, they would be able to pull it up in the files and find it in the database. And I waited for 2 weeks. It never arrived. I had to do a check online, find out it was sent and then returned back to sender for some reason. I'm like, well, did you send it to the address that I'm currently at? Or was it to the old address that was on file? Like, I let them know where I needed it to be sent to. And I think that they made a mistake and sent it to my old address instead of my new address. So I had to wait a while and wait for them figured things out. They found it. They were going to send it back. Got sent back again to return to sender. Like, okay, this is now like 4 or 6 weeks at this point. I had to do the whole get online and track my ID, find out where it was, my driver's license, find out where it was. Still, they got returned back again for like the third time, maybe even a fourth time. Finally, I'm emailing these people, like, are you sending it to this address? Like, and someone's like, yeah, we found your ID here. We will make sure that we get it. Can you please send us the address that you wanted to go to? And then finally, after like the fourth or fifth time, it finally made it. I was so like shocked that it even made it. I thought I was gonna have to drive all the way up to Santa Fe from Albuquerque to go get my driver's license from the state capitol up there in Santa Fe. I guess that's where they issue IDs if you go to the Express DMV for some reason. I don't know, you guys. Does this happen in your state, in your area? Even if you're local, have you had to deal with this? Or when you went to a regular DMV, did they just issue your driver's license right there on the spot? Because that's what I thought. I thought they took your photo and then they did their little thing with their picture maker. You know, it used to be like one of those like kind of Polaroid style things or whatever. And you take your picture and then they would scan it onto the ID or whatever. I don't know how they would do it. And then voila, you'd have an ID. You'd walk out with a brand new driver's license. For some reason, nowadays we got a waiting period of 2 weeks to have it mailed out. But I finally got my ID. And so I was waiting since like March of this year. I seriously just got it like within like 2 weeks ago, maybe even less, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And right away, I finally was able to go into a dispensary, because that's really all I really need an ID for. Like I said, if you get pulled over, it's going to be in the database. But I don't drink anymore, so I don't need it to show ID for alcohol. I don't buy cigarettes, purchase cigarettes or anything like that. I guess every once in a while I might need to show ID for a lighter or for butane. But a lot of times, like the people that already I purchase from, they're locals around the corner here and there, and at the local corner store, and they already know that I'm an adult and over 21. So I usually don't get carded all the time because they already know me for many years. And then, like I said, I'm not purchasing alcohol. Of course, they would have to check the ID for the alcohol. I don't know about how hardcore the law is for checking driver's licenses for lighters, like just a regular Bic lighter, you know. So finally went into a dispensary, my favorite local dispensary, to go see my favorite bud tenders, see how they've been doing. They told me that they were so concerned. They didn't know what happened to me. I just fell off the earth. And they were so worried that something had happened to me, like health-wise or something. And they were so happy to see me come in, greeted me with hugs, which is awesome. I don't know if you guys get hugs from your local bud tender. And then on my way out, I was letting them know, like, hey, I noticed that all of my original $5 mushrooms are gone. Do you need more? And she's like, yes, definitely. I would love more. And I told her, Balloon Fiesta's coming up. I will also have glass balloons available too. And she says, okay. And then she says, I'll take 100 of those and another 50 of the mushrooms again. I was like, oh my gosh. So this individual knows with Balloon Fiesta coming, it's a huge ordeal. And this person is planning on making some good money. So I get it to them at wholesale. They can easily triple their money on these from the wholesale price. And anyone is welcome to purchase from me at wholesale. You just have to purchase a certain amount in order to get that deal, that pricing. That's all it takes, is just making sure that you're purchasing a good amount at a time. All right, so I don't know how long we've been going already. Let me just scroll this down slightly so I can see if anyone's watching. We're at 15 minutes in, and we got a couple people watching right now, so thanks for tuning in. Just working on these ganja green balloons here for the local dispensary known as ABQ Craft Cannabis, located at Louisiana and Manal here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And they're like, you know, a lot of people, like, they'll go and they'll purchase beer, right? But then you can also get craft beer. Well, that's what these guys are about. ABQ Craft Cannabis. It's all about the craft, keeping it clean, keeping the product nice and clean, away from pesticides and herbicides and all those things. It's really cool. But I find it interesting that a local dispensary has ordered placed one of the largest orders of glass balloons from me for this year and probably for many years. Like, I don't have too many people who ask me, hey, can you make 100 of these? Like, usually I'll have a balloon team like, hey, can you make like this many and this many of this? And oh, something came through. I got like a text or something. And then I'll be making like a dozen, you know, or 2 dozen of a couple of different balloons here and there. Oh, am I getting text messages coming through? Beep beep boop. I don't know if you guys could hear the beeping or not. I didn't put my phone on what do you call it? Like ignore or do not disturb. Just in case I get any important calls or something, I have to let you guys just go. I just want to make sure that I'm able to be contacted just in case today. My wife and son went on a trip. They left me for the weekend. Actually, just for the night. I was actually planning on spending time with our son this weekend and having him stay with me while my wife went on her, I don't know if it's a retreat or some sort of a meeting or what it is, with her doula class. She's been taking doula courses recently, and she'll be certified to help birthing mothers who need help with any sort of doula work and finding help as well with, I don't know if she's actually going to help with midwife, finding midwives and being able to give recommendations, or if she's mostly just focusing on the whole the doula-ship and what she's doing there. But I'm really proud of her and all that she's gone through and accomplished in the last year. It's not very easy for someone who has a disability of over 20 years and having to go through these things with fibromyalgia and other types of medical pains and issues and conditions. So I'm really proud of her. I hope she knows that. And hopefully one day soon I can afford to take her out and celebrate and not have to worry about if we're going to come up with rent or not. So I just keep on working. Just work, 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 work. And make sure that I can make ends meet. And hopefully this next month coming up with, with the balloons and everything, we should be able to get put back up to, maybe I can afford to pay 1 month ahead of rent. And that way we can be ahead of the game. And then if we ever have any downtime or we want to go on vacation, or if we just like need, we're going to be spending money soon, right? Everyone's going to be spending money on Thanksgiving, on Halloween, on Christmas especially. And then, there's always birthdays and things like that coming up and all that stuff. All right, there's the first one. It took more than 20 minutes. So let's try to get the timing down on these a little quicker here. So how you guys doing today? Have you been able to catch the live stream earlier of my music? It's been a while since I picked up the guitar and played any live music for you guys. It's been a while since I've even like put my face on camera. I've been, I don't know, basically what it is that, with losing all my teeth in the last few years and stuff, and just not having the ability, the finances to afford to get dentures and things like that, or partials, or just anything, that I've just not wanted to put my face on the camera. That's the 100% truth. So I've been, I've watched a lot of different YouTube creators and stuff, and how they've made videos that are faceless. Like this right here, this is a faceless video where all you're doing is you're simply watching what I'm doing, and then I just simply talk and explain. And until someone actually comes in and has a conversation with me, I'm just going to keep yapping away about random BS. But yeah, I haven't done a live stream with my face on it in a really long time, basically because I don't have a beautiful smile anymore. I mean, my smile is still beautiful, but then when it's a toothless smile, not too many people like that. And they might make judgments and things like that, Not realizing that I've had dental issues for pretty much my whole life, and then when my parents divorced, that's when my older sisters all got braces, and I'll have beautiful. And then the parents got divorced, and then me and my brother pretty much never had any of that dental work that needed to be done, all the hereditary dental work, right? And then when I got older, as my own adult, I was a young parent at basically 18 going on 19 is when I had my first child. And pretty much at that point, I was just focused on trying to figure out how to be a parent and how to take care of a child, that I wasn't concerned about how to take care of myself at that point. And I let my dental needs go away. And then also at the same time, being that I was a young parent, I had to rely on the human services, on state help, on getting like food stamps and cash assistance and those kind of things like that. And so with that, comes the free medical help that you get from the state. It's usually not the greatest. You're usually being seen by like students and things like that. And so I'd go in and get my teeth cleaned and whatever, and get x-rays and stuff from the students, right? And then they're just like telling me, like, I remember when I was like, I don't know, 23 or 26 years old, like basically half my life ago. I'm pushing 50 right now. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I'm basically going to be 50 here in a few months. So I'm an old man. I'm an old fart here. I just look really young, and I've got a lot of energy. So I can probably like run circles around guys my age, right? Hey, what's going on, Pro Cannabis? Greetings to you as well. I'm just explaining my dental mishaps and stuff. So when I was like 23 or 26, that was pretty much the last time I went to a dentist, because they scared the crap out of me when they started to go through, like when I was younger, the dentist basically would tell me that because I had overcrowding in my mouth, something about either my jaw was too small to hold all the teeth that most people have or something, or because my jaw has a misalignment. I have TMJ, and so because there's maybe a misalignment, I don't have the same amount of room. So as soon as my molars came in when I was a teenager, then all my teeth got overcrowded. I went from having beautiful, perfect teeth when I was like 12, 13, and then about 14, 15, I think is when my wisdom teeth came in. And instead of having them get pulled or whatever, I just dealt with overcrowding, which then led to like a shark bite in the front of my mouth, where I had like double rows of teeth. I had like my canines on top were sticking out. They were protruding quite prominently. And then my bottom row of teeth, I had two of my teeth were pushed back behind my first front teeth. So it's like the next teeth, so you'd have like your two front teeth and then the ones to the side of those ones got pushed back. So then I had like this weird bite. I couldn't eat apples very easily because I'd bite into them, and then I'd bite in and reach like the gum line, and it would hurt. So I'd have to eat apples with a knife. I had to learn to eat things like that. Some things I couldn't bite into. And, you know, and under my parents' care at that time, the divorce and things like that, they weren't really taking care of my needs and things because they were dealing with their own BS. And so I had overcrowding issues, and when I would go to the dentist, I would leave with them saying, well, I couldn't really get behind there and clean it out. I did the best I could. So even the dentist couldn't clean my teeth properly, which led to periodontal disease and gingivitis and all that stuff. And if the dentist couldn't even clean my teeth properly, what was I supposed to do? You know, I did the best I could. And then at some point, I just started losing teeth, and I just lost my, like, it was sad to know that I couldn't stop that failure in my body from happening. And I was just going to be one to just continue to lose teeth, and I would eventually have to get dentures, you know? And so that's what I've been dealing with, and why I don't really put my face on camera, and why I do these no-face videos like this here. But today, I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to show my face. I don't care if I got just one tooth. I look like a hillbilly. You could be Hillbilly Dracula. I'll always remember that. My firstborn came up with that. We were talking about Halloween costumes, and one year, my child, who was my daughter at the time, now goes by Damien and has chosen to be transgender male. And so when my child was younger, we were coming up with these things, and we had these funny like teeth, you know, like those rubber hillbilly teeth that, you know, probably look like the way my teeth look now. And I remember she came up with this thing, I'm gonna be Hillbilly Dracula. And I was like, what? Like, yeah, I'm gonna wear a cape, I'm gonna wear these teeth. I was like, oh my god, that is freaking hilarious. Hillbilly Dracula. My child came up with that at like 7 or 8 years old. I'll always remember that. Maybe 9, I don't know. But I thought it was hilarious. Actually, it was probably around 8 or 9 years old. Now that I'm remembering where we lived, I know specifically my child was 9 years old at that time. So about 8 or 9. Alright, that one came out a little bit quicker. Maybe. Let's see if we can get 4 of these done in an hour. I might let you guys go when the hour is up, so that way we don't have just a live stream going for a whole entire day. But how you been doing, Pro Cannabis? Sorry, man, and just rambling over here. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Is the weather okay? We got some crazy flooding here in our region, not in New Mexico, but in Texas, which I consider our region, you know, the Southwest. And they've got some crazy flooding in the, is it Dallas-Fort Worth area? Or is it, I don't remember, was it Austin? I think it was Dallas-Fort Worth. They've got some flooding issues going on right now. I don't know if you guys are paying attention to all the fires and the floods, but I do have a playlist that I started probably a couple years back, probably during the whole the lockdowns, the shutdowns with all the pandemics and the polypandemics that have been coming up. I have a playlist for polypandemics of 2022 and beyond, or 2023 and beyond. A polypandemic means many, multiple, like multiple crises going on at once. A polypandemic, a polycrisis. So I've got playlists for all these things because this is all pretty much part of the plan of for the Great Reset. So if you pay attention to those types of things, you might be interested in those playlists that I have to show what's going on. But I'll be saving some videos for what's going on here in Texas to the playlist today, probably. Fires and floods is the playlist, and then also polypandemics of like 2022 or 2023 and beyond. I think I put it as 2023, but then realized we've been going through a lot of this stuff since about 2022, maybe even longer. But yeah, it's been pretty wild. I'm okay, no problem. Ramble on. To ramble on. To sing my song. So coming up, I just purchased tickets to our local state fair, which our family, well, my wife and our son, and well, I guess our family, because I kind of tricked my daughter into doing something for me. She wrote, I had her use her handwriting, and she wrote the card that I have on display for my glass entry for the Creative Arts State Fair show. I won first place and best of show in 2023 for the 13 original balloons that I made in 2022 as a tribute to the 50th anniversary of our balloon fiesta here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And that won best first place. So this year was the next time, or the second time, that I have entered anything into the New Mexico State Fair. I decided to enter this year, like when I won Best of Show in first place, I was like, how can I top that? Like I would just have to win Best of Show in first place every year consecutively for like, you know, for years to come for me to really top that. Like my first entry ever, and I win first place in Best of Show. Like I was stoked. I I was like, okay, I don't need to enter again. I'm done. Like, that's cool. I won. I won best show. I won first place. I set out what I wanted to do and done. But then our governor of New Mexico decided that she was going to put the land, the property that hosts the New Mexico State Fair, which is known as Expo New Mexico. So Expo New Mexico has now been placed up for sale to probably the highest bidders. The redevelopers have already come in and bid. That happened in January. Between February and like either like March or May, they were supposed to have come up with their plans for redevelopment. And what we're hearing now is that there's talks that they're going to turn the place into a park, open space, a walking area, which is weird because it's right smack dab in the middle of the war zone. The war zone is becoming infamous on YouTube. Albuquerque has a neighborhood which has been deemed in recent years as the international district. International means that what they've done is they've basically brought a bunch of people from mixed races together in one area, which has created the war zone. It has created, I don't know, issues amongst people, I guess. But also, it's because of the illicit substances and gang activity and things like that, that this place has become prominent, and it's now becoming a YouTube sensation. If you just search the war zone, I'm sure Albuquerque will come up. You won't see like, well, maybe you'll see stuff from like Gaza and other places, but you'll probably get Albuquerque war zone. And it's bad, but there's also worse places than this, guaranteed. New York has always been bad. Chicago has always been bad. Detroit has always been bad. Compton, LA has always been bad, you know. Phoenix, Flagstaff, Scottsdale, Tempe, right? Little Rock, Arkansas. A lot of places that are all bad. Done on purpose? Possibly. Done on purpose many years ago as part of this Great Reset? Yeah, possibly. It's just speculation, you know, allegedly, right? This is all for entertainment purposes, of course, right? I'm entertaining you guys with my glass wine and my rambling on, right? This is for my own personal entertainment purposes, and if you enjoy it as well, then it's for you as well. But yeah, this kind of stuff is going on and happening around the world. But what I was saying was, it's interesting they're going to have this as a walking area right outside of the war zone where people are afraid to walk. People won't walk up and down Central right there in front of the state fair, except when the state fair opens. And then it's going to be changed around where all the unhoused individuals will get pushed off of Central, off of Route 66. They'll be forced into the back alleys, which really not the back alleys, because our city has been fencing off and closing the back alleys off, so they can't utilize them to sleep anymore, to use the bathroom or whatever they do. So they just have to go onto the back streets. And the places where like businesses have maybe failed, the businesses have shut down, abandoned properties, dilapidated properties, or simply just right on the sidewalk on city property, so they're not on private property and no one can tell them to leave. And that's what the war zone's all about, and it's pretty wild. I think I've done many live streams here just walking around. When we didn't have a vehicle, I'd ride my bike right through it, you know, catching a bus here in the war zone, walking with my children in the war zone, having to deal with them and they're smoking their substances on their foils and things like that, which I don't think they realize that burning foil and inhaling that directly is a direct cause of brain damage, Alzheimer's, memory lapse. They're basically poisoning themselves into into a mental health crisis. Like, a lot of people don't realize that. Like, probably the issue is the foil. If they could afford glass, they might actually not have the problems and the issues. Maybe. That's only a speculation. I don't know, because I don't do that stuff. And I've never tried to see, well, is it better with the foil than with glass? Yeah, I'm not going to be the experimental guinea pig on that one. You like my storytelling, huh? And watching with the eyes. That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. I've learned that if I just sit here and just blow glass and then I'm just waiting for people to like interact with me, my live streams get boring when you watch them afterwards. It's like, why even keep it up? Just delete it, right? So I've learned to just constantly just talk. Even if I might be just talking to myself and I have no viewers, because I don't have a lot of viewership here. I don't know if I become shadow banned, but I have a lot of subscribers. I mean, I've got over 1,000 subscribers, and I get like 1 or 2 people to come in here and there. And I understand everyone's got lives. Everyone's watching other channels right now, or maybe they're not even on YouTube. They're on TikTok. They're on Twitter or X, or they're on Insta or something else like that. So I get it. I understand. But let me continue with this story. So it's interesting that our governor has basically sold out the location for our state fair, which has been there since 1938. I know this because I wanted to find out how long has it been in this location. What was the state fair, the very first state fair? How did it look? What were some of the first rides? Because I was thinking I might try to replicate some of like the first rides at the state fair in glass, and that was maybe going to be my entry into the state fair creative arts competition. But then I decided to go with the mascots, and like I was saying, I tricked my daughter into writing the sign for me, which says farewell, and we wrote it fair like as in the state fair, F-A-I-R, farewell Expo New Mexico. I think it's appropriate to have something like that and to enter it into the art competition. It's a farewell. It's a so long. A see you later. I almost put F you. Just kidding. F you, Expo New Mexico. Kicking us out. Have the horses, have Phil and Phyllis all being explicitive. They could have done it like Bugs Bunny style, you know, with like the @ sign and the pound sign and the dollar sign and the question marks and all that stuff. We could have done some explicits like that and just have like an explicit whatever, you don't know what it says, and then just on the bottom, Expo New Mexico. So then everyone can just have their own mind made up on what they might be saying. Maybe I should have made a sign that says, F you, Governor. That might get me in trouble though, right? And this is why I get in trouble for something. Speaking the truth and talking about stuff. Getting shadow banned. Sell them thin, flat glass, huh? I don't know what that comment was to. But, oh, yeah, sell the thin, flat glass. And then I can hook up the people out there to unhouse I know what you're talking about now. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy that they're going to take over Expo New Mexico. This is the final year for the state fair to be in that location ever since 1938. What is that, like 80 some years? I don't know how many years it is that it's been here. The state fair though started like back in like the 1800s, I believe, and then went on hiatus for a while and then came back in 1938 in its new location. But before, it was somewhere else. I think like in the farmland, farm industry area, you know. State fairs usually are about animals and farm competitions and food, whether you've grown this and that and how big your pumpkin is and the, you know, those kind of things. You know, like Charlotte's Web, some pig, right? So, being that this is the final year of Expo New Mexico, location being a host for events, they're going to convert it into quote unquote affordable living housing. And so I've looked that up. I've Googled it. What is the definition of affordable housing? Because I've been wanting to ask, like, the mayor, the governor, like, what do you guys think affordable housing is? Like really? Like, if someone has a 9-to-5 job working part-time, or sorry, working minimum wage, 9 to 5, a full-time job, 40-hour week, but at minimum wage, governor, mayor of Albuquerque, should this individual who's working a minimum wage full-time job be able to afford affordable housing with one job, 40 hours a week? Because to me, that would be affordable, right? And I'm not saying that this individual with a minimum wage job should be able to have like a 3-bedroom home with a 2-car garage and a den and an office and a big old backyard. No, they should be able to afford like a studio apartment, right? Maybe a one-bedroom studio apartment or something simple like that, and not be forced to live on the streets, right? Now, what the definition of affordable housing is 1/3 your income. So is it that we are forcing people to pay a minimum rental, basically, you know, it's average across the board. Basically, people are paying about $2,200 a month on rent nationwide. Here in Albuquerque, we are very low income. We used to have some extremely affordable housing where studios were like $400 a month, utilities included, for a studio apartment. You know, something like the size of a hotel room with one bed, not two, not a double, just a single, and not a queen, just a twin. But we used to have $400 studios here. Those places now are like close to $1,000. You're lucky if you can find anywhere that you can live for under $1,000 these days. Somehow we've managed by living in the war zone. We somehow pay under $1,000 still. But every year since the pandemic, rents increased. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. They haven't been fixing up the buildings though, right? They haven't been giving us any new appliances updates or giving us like new vinyl flooring or tile or painting inside, or you know, they ain't doing any remodeling or anything like that. They're not hooking us up with at least, like, you know, like maybe they can't come in and paint because you live in there, right? But they could give us brand new swamp coolers with covers for the winter time to winterize them, to keep the drafts out, right? Instead of sending out their crew with trash bags, with actual garbage bags, Glad bags, like the black garbage bags, you know, refuse bags, you know, like the 55-gallon black bags, and putting them inside of the swamp cooler panels. I don't know if you guys know what a swamp cooler is. It's basically a box that has a pump inside that holds water on the bottom, and then it's got like this a pump that pushes water through what's known as a spider up top, and it usually has like 4 spigots that come out the spider, which runs water into each side of the swamp cooler. And you basically are wetting these pads, these cooling pads, and then sucking the air through the pad and into the home. So if you don't keep the pads wet, then you're just sucking in just whatever air is outside. So if it's hot air, you're sucking in hot air. So we have swamp coolers which basically cool off the intake through wet pads. And they are covering swamp coolers with trash bags, you know, and instead of, like, you know, you're getting how much money extra from each unit, you can afford to put a cover on our swamp cooler. And when we have one in storage, that, you know, the past owners would bring their crews in and they would put it up, and then they'd bring it back down, and then they would give it to us, and we would store it near our in the closet where, like, the heater is, the water heater, and there's a little tiny storage thing, and we just put our cover in there, right? Like, the damper would go in there too. You know, the cover for the heater vent would go in there. And so in previous years, we would hand them the cover and they would install it. And this year I went up on the roof and I realized they didn't even use our cover. They took it with them. They took our swamp cooler and covered our pads with black trash bags. Now, I ain't trying to get a hold of no landlord-tenant issues with cords and things. I'm just saying, I'm not going to call them out for who they are. I'm not giving you my address. They don't know that I have this YouTube channel, I don't think. And so, yeah, I'm not trying to cause problems, because eventually they'll just be like, well, you can leave. We'll find a new tenant, right? And then there goes our under $1,000 rent that we got right now. Yo, what's up? I see Jaded McSwag is here. McSwag, huh? So, how you doing today? I'm Dan the Glassman. Welcome to the Glassman's World. I'm making hot air balloons right now, glass hot air balloons. We got the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta coming up, which is going to be a lot of fun and very tiring. And I will plan to stream every day so you guys can see how we set up a balloon for Dawn Patrol. So we're not just any balloon, guys. We are part of a special group of balloons. They only choose about a dozen or less every year to be part of Dawn Patrol. And what we do is we set up at 5 a.m. and get ready to fly by 6 a.m. before the whole rest of the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta even starts, before the national anthem, before the opening ceremony. And we basically lift off at 6 a.m. in the dark before the sun comes up. This is in October. And we test out the waters, basically, in the air. You know that air has water molecule, right? And that's why clouds form. basically like a less dense form of water. That's how I kind of see air. And it's not just O2. There's other stuff mixed in it as well. But it's interesting. We get to fly in the night of day. The night of day. We get to fly at dawn. This is our balloon right here. This is called Polar Dawn. Our pilot is Rick Jones, and I am actually in the gondola. Can you see me? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? You see me right there? You see me? Just kidding. I haven't even taken a magnifying glass to that to see, can I actually see if it's me or not? The pilot told me it's me. I'm gonna believe the pilot. I trust my pilot. If I couldn't trust my pilot, I would not be going up in the balloon with him every year. So during Balloon Fiesta coming up, October, like the 4th or something like that, we'll be going live every morning, early morning. That's like 5 a.m. Mountain Standard Time here in the United States. And it's so beautiful to watch Dawn Patrol, to see the balloons go up in the night sky. You're seeing the glow of the flame within the envelope, or the balloon. Basically, it's called an envelope. And so when the burners go off, when they hit their burner and make their flame basically do something like this, and there's like poof, poof. Oh, where is it? Where's my poof? There it is. And they do these big old poofs like that, right? And they fill up the balloon. You'll see the color of the balloon envelope, the panels, just light up in that night sky. It's such a beautiful sight to see. If you've never seen Balloon Fiesta, I highly advise watching it live. Go to Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, or AIFB, or AIBF, sorry, AIBF, Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, BF. And you can go to their channel, subscribe now, and that way you can get on their live streams to watch the whole entire show. And then they'll probably like show us from time to time, but being that we're Dawn Patrol, we are not officially a part of their show. So they actually don't start their official show until we've already launched or lifted, and they start with their show doing the national anthem, the opening ceremony of the day, launching the balloon of the day, and all that. It's really fun. It's a lot of fun and excitement. I got to wake up at like 2 or 3 a.m. to make sure that I can get to our pilot's hotel, wherever he may stay. Every year it's different. So he's got to figure out which reservations he wants in which hotel. I think they give him vouchers. They give all the pilots vouchers to stay at certain hotels, and they just have to reserve which one they want to get into. And it's a huge event. It's the largest event here in Albuquerque. And there was one other large event. Well, there is one other large event that's still around. But being that we are about to go into the end of Expo New Mexico, our Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta will be the largest event for New Mexico, for our entire state. Because of the Expo New Mexico leaving, basically our second largest event for the state, which is the Gathering of Nations Powwow, bringing in hundreds, if not thousands, of different tribes from all over Northern America, and Canada, and I'm sure that others come from other regions as well of the world to come to the gathering here in Albuquerque, New Mexico at Tingley Coliseum and at the Expo New Mexico State Fairgrounds, which used to be the State Fairgrounds. After September, coming up this week, the State Fair opens up on Thursday. My friend Ryan McGarvey will be playing Sunday, and he'll be headlining in Tingley Coliseum. They're doing a New Mexico local music showcase, I guess, and they're highlighting some of the best musicians from around here. Two of my friends are basically headlining back to back. Ryan McGarvey, who is a local legendary blues sensation. At the age of 18 or maybe 19, he won the Eric Clapton blues competition, which gave him the opportunity to perform in Las Vegas with Clapton and a bunch of others. So he got to play on stage with a bunch of blues greats, legends, and then they met him and he wowed them, and they basically became friends. He's now friends with some legendary musicians in this world. It is so amazing. And he got really, really big out there in Germany. He's got a huge following in Germany. He went on tour, world tours. And I guess in like 2020, maybe 2022, I'm not sure, he had to take a hiatus. I don't know exactly what happened, but he's had to like go through some surgeries and some health issues. And he's been recently working towards coming back. So the Tingley Coliseum show coming up this Sunday, September 7th at Tingley Coliseum at the Expo New Mexico State Fair will be his very first debut show, I believe, coming back since 2020 or 2022, which is amazing. I cannot wait to see him play. I was thinking I might try to make him a glass slide. I made him one years ago. He used it and performed with. It would be cool if I could make him another glass slide as just like, here you go, welcome back. If you use it, you use it. If it don't fit, I understand. But I think I might have to do that for my friend Ryan. And then our other friend, who's basically right before Ryan McGarvey. So Ryan is headlining, and our friend Defy, who is a local native hip-hop artist, he's gone worldwide as well. I believe he actually made it to the Olympics, and they did some kind of performance and breakdancing stuff at the World Olympics just recently. So he's out there, he's getting known. His name, he goes by Def I. Def, D-E-F-I. So check them out, Ryan McGarvey, Defy. Some of my friends here that I've had the privilege of knowing before they went worldwide. And yeah, I'm honored to have known so many amazing musicians in my lifetime here in this circle. Being a musician myself, I've been able to work with some of the greatest musicians here in New Mexico, especially with working with Delmon and on the saxophone, Delmon, and with the band Law of Attraction. When he formed Law of Attraction, he brought in some of the best all-star musicians to form, and I was shocked when he asked me to join, because I don't feel like I am that good compared to these greats that I've had the opportunity to perform with. So I'm honored and privileged to be asked to be part of this. And even earlier, like I said, when I was playing the music earlier, you can check out, you can let me know if you think I should be considered one of the all-stars of New Mexico. I think I'm mediocre, if best. I mean, I'm really good to where I can perform on stage, yes. I've headlined some shows for other bands, reggae bands and stuff like that, yes. But it was never like anything big like at a Coliseum. and you know, just at local bars and stuff like that. So let me know if you guys think that I actually am worthwhile listening to in my music, and if I should maybe consider myself one of the all-stars of New Mexico. Because I just think that I was just fortunate and blessed to have even been asked to be a part of some amazing greats. You know, to go to a luncheon and then sit next to like David Wade, who became famous, right? Like he's out there, and they were having him as part of our meetings at the beginning. We were maybe going to bring him in to Law of Attraction. I don't know what that was about, but I got to sit next to David Wade. And a few others that were part of that. It was pretty awesome. I could not believe what I was invited to during that luncheon. And my boy Del Mon, he's also worked with some amazing greats as well. I'm honored and privileged to call him my brother. A really good friend, musician, bandmate, a brother through God, you know, a soul brother in that way. So yeah. And then in Law of Attraction, we had Eric Owens, Big E on the bass, which I mentioned earlier in my video with the music, that he recently saw me last Sunday driving by. Told me he was going to be back in the studios again soon recording, and he wanted the lyrics to one of my songs, which is funny because he was like, I need my lyrics. He was saying, I need my lyrics, because he wants to sing the backup part to it, right? He's like, I need my lyrics. So it's cool. He's claiming my song as one of those ones that he's hoping to put on his CD, because he's worked with so many musicians and greats. He's going to do a collaboration CD and put my song on it. I am honored. So yeah, it's pretty cool to have this life of being able to work with some amazing musicians and talent. I've lived a really awesome life. I've had a blessed life, even though I've had a lot of crap going on and BS. I've had an amazing, blessed life. I'm happy to say that. Years ago, when I was like really young, even then, I felt so blessed to have gone through the things that I already had stated, you know, my words to God is like, I'm happy, like, if you took me now, I'd be happy with the life I've lived. And I can still say to this day, if you took me now, I'd be happy with the life I've lived. I feel like I've done so much good in this world and reached people and done what I can, shared my story, shared my love, my passion, you know. And I just think that me sharing these experiences and stuff, it may help out others who may be going through issues and going through things, or don't know what's going on with local news and stuff, or, you know, just anything that I share and talk about. I think that it'll be helpful and impactful. And as you can see, Pro Cannabis likes my storytelling. So I think that's cool. I appreciate you. So I think we've been over an hour now, right? Oh, we're just barely at an hour. Okay. I don't know what more I can share except the Expo New Mexico will have redevelopment soon. They're going to turn it into a walking place right outside of the war zone. The only way that's going to work is if they do what? Clean up the war zone. And what's been going on? Unhoused individuals are going missing. We don't know where they are. I don't know where they're going. I just know that I've been living in this area of town for years now, and I see individuals daily. There's certain individuals that stand out more than others, and there are specific corners and areas that they all flock to and all congregate. And these corners aren't inhabited as much as they used to. There's something going on with the unhoused, and this whole thing going on with ICE and the alligator Alcatraz in Florida, and these other different, like, I don't know what, holding prisons, gulags, concentration camps, basically. Like, this is the start of what happened in Nazi Germany many years ago. And they removed the homeless from the streets, calling them degenerates or whatever. And, you know, basically demonizing and getting the rest of the general public to go along with communism, right? And whatever happened with all those unhoused and the concentration camps and all that is going on now. Thank you so much. Yes, you do. I'm a true artist. I appreciate that. Yeah, I definitely, like, when I was younger, I already knew that I had many talents. You know, I used to draw a lot of stuff. I thought I was going to be an architect when I was a kid. And I used to draw houses, and I used to love to draw cars. I was into Hot Wheels, of course, like we all were, right? Hot Wheels and Matchbox. And so I used to love to draw cars. My mom was an artist, so I think I got my artistic side from my mom. My dad's side, we have musicians in the family, so maybe my music side came from my dad and my grandfather and my uncles and things like that. But my mother, she used to draw amazingly well. And I think I was inspired by her. And then, you know, going through school, in high school you get different electives and stuff, and so every year I would make sure to take art classes, and they would hook us up with all the supplies, like unlimited supplies of paint. You know, I took photography class, I took pottery, clay, sculpting, drawing. Did I say painting? I took all kinds of classes. Artesian workshop, which we worked on all different mediums. That one was a fun one. I did that my second senior year in high school. I didn't graduate after 4 years. I liked high school so much, I was like, I'm going to keep going for 5. Just kidding. No, I slacked off, man. A true artist, right? I slacked off. I didn't go to class. I was shy of half a credit graduating, guys. I didn't care. I knew I wasn't going to college. Who was going to be able to afford that? Not me. Not my parents. I was never pushed into doing anything for scholarships or nothing like that. I never had parents that, like, were very, like, supportive of the things they did. Like, you know, I guess, like, they would make sure we had some things, this and that, or whatever, right? When I was a skateboarder, my dad let us build ramps in the backyard. That was pretty cool. Let us use his tools and things like that. But as far as, like, academics and stuff, like, I was never really, like, pushed into, like, making sure I got good grades and that I could maybe get a scholarship, go to college, or nothing like that. I don't know. Maybe they just thought that I never had the potential. As a young boy, maybe I was already an artist in that way. I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to college. Who can afford that? I mean, still, look at all these student loans people are paying back after going. And then they don't even land in the career that they went to school for. It's so sad. And then they're sad because they're flipping burgers at Mickey D's or something. Or they got to come and learn how to blow glass from someone like me who doesn't have a college degree. That puts things into perspective. When you have a person with a college degree come to someone who doesn't have a college degree to ask for their expertise in learning how to do a trade skill so they can make more money than what they're doing right now. Brutal truth and reality right there. That's honesty. When I can make a minimum of 20 an hour, that's my minimum. My minimum wage is 20 an hour, and sometimes up to what? Like right now, I'm doing these. I wholesale them at $10 a piece, but I retail them at $20, 2 for 30. During Balloon Fiesta, they'll probably go up to 30, and I may end up keeping the price point there. I've been making these for so long, I've realized no one else really does this. No other glass artist dedicates their time to the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta like I do. I'm the only artist in the world who replicates balloons from trading cards like this here, you know, and replicate balloons. I can try to replicate that balloon. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll replicate one of the Polar Dawn balloons, and then I'll let you guys go. But yeah, it's amazing to be able to say I am the only glass artist in the world who replicates balloons from photos and trading cards for pilots and crew members. Like specifically for pilots and crew members. But also, you know, there are others who are like, oh, this is my favorite balloon, or that's my favorite balloon. So they'll ask me to make their favorite balloon as like a memento, a keepsake, a souvenir that is a one-of-a-kind, a one-off, because these aren't mass-produced. Even if I make a dozen of them, they're still one-of-a-kind. They're still a one-off. No two lines are drawn the same. They're not drawn with the same thickness or nothing. No balloon is ever the same size, weight, shape. They're all a little bit different in their own way. And that's the beauty of my art, is that you basically get one of a kind. I can't make prints. Like, you know how a painter, I used to be a painter. I used to be a drawer. I used to love charcoal, black and white. One of my favorite mediums. And when I started blowing glass, I realized that glass sold itself. I didn't have to try. It just sold itself. Like you what? Like you didn't go to college, became an artist, you realized you didn't want a student loan debt for the rest of your life to follow you through so your kids are paying off your student loan debt. Do student loan debts actually get forgiven once you pass away, or do they actually get pushed down to your children? That debt follows, right? I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe they forgive the loan. All right, well, we're going to have to do some kind of a giveaway here soon. I was thinking if I make this the Polar Dawn balloon here, maybe I'll put it up as a giveaway. I'm not sure how I want to do it. You know, last time we reached 1K subscribers, and then I celebrate it by giving you guys gifts. Instead of me getting gifts and prizes for reaching that milestone, I was giving you guys gifts. And I'm not monetized. My channel is not monetized, so this all comes out of pocket. Anytime I ever gift you, always know it's my own gratitude that I'm paying forward. We got to do this gently. If you do it too much, it'll flatten out that top. So you got to try to keep that top rounded and then make this bulbous and bulb out like that. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway. It's Balloon Fiesta season coming up. I'm gonna be making a lot of balloons. I would love to gift out some of our Polar Dawn balloons. I've been given permission by our pilot that I can basically market the F out of the balloon. I can build a website just for our balloon. I can put hot air balloons on there. I can do whatever I want. Pretty much he's given me the okay, but I'm not going to take advantage of that, and I'm definitely going to give him a percentage or a cut if anything like really like goes big and viral and things like start popping off. You can follow us on Facebook, Polar Dawn Balloon, Dawn, D-A-W-N, polar as in polar bears. Our pilot loves polar bears, which is why he has this balloon, Polar Dawn. On the top of it, on the crown, so on the top of every balloon is known as the crown right here. And the crown usually has its own little cool design. Some will have little smiley faces or have a little saying or some other kind of colors, or maybe it'll color coordinate with the rest of the pattern of the balloon. Ours has a blue dot on top with two polar bears, a mama and a baby polar bear. And when we inflate, so basically our balloon, we take out the envelope. There's no air in it. We lay it down flat, spread it out so it's like flat as a pancake on the grass out there in the field. And then we inflate it. We do a cold inflate with a fan. So we basically just blow air into the balloon and inflate it like that. And as it starts to inflate, it goes from being flat to then you can see like the top half of it rising up, and then more and more rises up. And then if you're on top of the crown, so when have our balloon laying down, it'll rise up like this and then eventually stand up, right? So you're either going to be on the bottom side where the gondola is, where the basket is, or you're going to be up top to watch our balloon and all the rest of the balloons. So there'll be like 12 balloons in a whole entire row. And if you're up top, I think you get some of the best photos with all of Dawn Patrol when we go up. But then if you're at the basket, you get some of the best shots of the pilot and the crew members working and getting that balloon up and getting the fire, getting the flame shot. So it's a toss-up. Like, what do you want? You want the fire to flame, or do you want like all the balloons glowing and being able to capture them all from a distance? Oh, like you, asking for expertise. Yes, yes. Are you calling it? Wait on it. So do you have a college degree and you're asking for my advice and expertise? Because that's the reality of the situation, right? Like, it's truth, man. It's a harsh reality of what the public education system pushes people into so they can just become good, civilized, tax-abiding citizens, right? Pay your taxes, and then the man don't come after you or whatever, right? But it doesn't matter if you get your employment in the degree that you went to or went for, you know? Like the other night, I'm wearing the Offspring shirt right now. I've worn it a couple times since the concert, not gonna lie. I probably got to put it in the laundry now because I'm getting hot and sweaty being in here with the kiln on. So yeah, it's going in the laundry today. But what's interesting is the Offspring member, the Dexter, their lead singer, come to find out at the concert, he's got a PhD. And he plays music. I wonder how long it took for his band to reach stardom for him to pay off his student loan. That's harsh truth right there. Did he ever step foot to being a doctor, or did he just like become the offspring and that was it? That's really cool. Now what was funny is when they introduced Dexter, like Dr. Dexter, then they started introducing the rest of the band. Sorry, I keep hitting my head on the camera. It's basically at forehead level. But he introduced all the rest of the band members as Doctor. And then the last guy, I forget his name, the guitarist. Oh man, what's his name? I forget his name. He was like, and I'll be your nurse practitioner for the evening. I thought that was funny. I don't think they're all doctors, but maybe one or two of them do actually have PhDs. And they jam out in a, like a, I don't know, thrash punk band. What are they? Are they punk? Thrash punk? I don't know. When I was a skater, that was the type of music that would get us pumping. We really gonna do one more of these? We're at 86 minutes. We're gonna be in an hour and a half. This will be a 2-hour stream. You know what? I'm gonna save. I'm not gonna do the Polar Dawn. I'm gonna save it for next time. Maybe even just later today. I just want to make this a short video, and by short I mean an hour, less than an hour and a half. When I first started going live on Facebook, I might have been the first person to realize and figure out that they had a 4-hour limit to the live streams. Because I went for 4 hours one day and then it just shut down. Like, wait, is that our limit? Like, oh, I guess I've been talking all day. So I got a lot of practice just talking to myself, by myself, with myself. I'm pretty good at this. What's interesting is, like, in the last, like, I don't know, since about 2017, 2018, Facebook Lives, we used to have like hundreds of people watching us, hundreds of viewers. Not lying. I'm not even like making that up. We used to have hundreds of viewers watching us. We were part of what was known as the Water's Life movement, Standing Rock, gifting out the drop of water to water protectors from all over the world. Those who came down to the Buffalo Dance at the Gathering of Nations powwow. Oh yeah, I didn't even finish talking about that. In 2017, they came down to the Gathering of Nations powwow, and I was invited to be a part of that because friends of mine were wearing the drop of water, which I had gifted them. They asked special permission to wear it with their regalia, and they were granted that permission. And then I made them as many as they needed. And then I realized they weren't the only ones that were part of the dance. There were 200 or 300 others. I only gifted 19 at the time. So there are still 200 or 300 other individuals who are part of the Buffalo Dance that I would love to still gift the drop of water to. I'm now up to 3,876 that have been gifted. 3,875 was gifted to Willie Nelson recently. Thank you to my friend Edgar from SD, from Santo Domingo, Pueblo. So they brought in all 19 Pueblos from New Mexico for the Buffalo Dance in 2017, which was the first time that all 19 Pueblos danced together in 400 years. It was a huge, significant dance. And that's what started the drop of water and the gifting campaign that we've been doing. And just to finish off, it's sad to now know that next year in April will be the last dance. They are deeming it the last dance already. The organizers of the Gathering of Nations powwow is not seeking a new location. That Expo New Mexico is letting them go, and they are not seeking out a new location. Next year will be the final Gathering of Nations powwow in 2026, deemed as the last dance. Now, I came in 2017 during that Buffalo Dance, And the Gathering of Nations was a huge thing for us to get this going, a huge catalyst. And I've been thinking maybe, I don't know if I want to do this, but maybe I'm going to stop the gifting campaign. We've kind of lost some steam. You know, the flow of the Drop of Water campaign and the gifting has basically been dammed up by certain individuals who had issues with me being a Spaniard. My last name, I'm a Spaniard, but I'm also Mexican. So they don't want to honor my Mexican ancestry and my Mexican heritage and my Mexican Native American side, right? This was all Mexico before America took it over, right? So this is my native land here. But if you're not part of the tribes, right, or whatever, then you're not considered native enough, right? So a lot of people gave me a lot of backlash and stuff and tried to dethrone me, I guess, or take me off a pedestal, or to basically to put me under a bus and to stop what I was doing, which was simply, what they don't understand is this: making the Drop of Water was bestowed upon me from Creator. And then friends of mine from Acoma Pueblo asked if they could wear this Drop of Water bestowed upon me from Creator in order to honor water and to honor the buffalo and water protectors and to honor Standing Rock. And so they wore it. And then it just became bigger when we realized there were 200 or 300 others who were part of that dance, and they should also have this symbol of water as well. And so we started gifting them. We, meaning me and Creator. We started gifting them to honor those who have dedicated their lives to protecting water for future generations to come. Protecting water for all. You know, but during the pandemic, we didn't come together enough. They were able to segregate us enough during the pandemic. And after Standing Rock ceased and everyone kind of like started fighting with each other, like I said, people started to badmouth me because I have Spanish heritage and blood. And so they created a lot of like this hatred, segregation, animosity towards others who were all there for the same reason, which was just to fight for water, clean drinking water for all. Mini Wachoni, water is life. And what's crazy is that they basically sabotaged the movement themselves by fighting amongst each other instead of uniting with those, even if they aren't like part of their blood or heritage. They still went there to help fight and protect against all the opposition, the military, the U.S. military, the National Guard, all the security that came down and like brought their guard dogs and like was unleashing their guard dogs on women and children. You know, many of us couldn't make it up there because we had to take care of our own families. I wanted to go to Standing Rock, but I had to fight for my custody of my daughter. So it was either me go to Standing Rock or I lose custody of my child, right? So I didn't go. And then I'm grateful because everything happens for a reason. I didn't go. Friends of mine that I met after they had gone ended up becoming sick, ended up getting what was known as the DAPL cough, the Dakota Access Pipeline cough. They were spraying Razol of rat poison onto the people. You know how they have the airplanes that just crop dust? Well, they were crop dusting the people. They put Razol in buffalo, and then they offered the buffalo or the bison to the people so they could consume it. It's amazing. They they poisoned them. They found Razal in sacred eagles that perished up there at Standing Rock. That rat poison was put into people, and then people got sick. And then a year or so later, people started getting this weird cough and this upper respiratory issue, right? And it could be possible that they maybe experimented with what was going on with the pandemic up at Standing Rock. And that maybe that dapple cough was actually the precursor to COVID. And we just didn't know it, because they were trying to tell us that it was called popcorn lung disease from e-cigs, from an accident, from using improper e-juice, nicotine juice that's put into electronic cigarettes that was coming from China or from Mexico or from other places or whatever, right? Always putting the blame on other countries, not talking about what was going on here, or the fact that we had our own military. We basically had a war right here on our own grounds, and media blackout, and no one heard about it. And so, you know, it's interesting that now the Gathering of Nations is going to be gone. And that's what was the catalyst to get this all going and started. And like I said, a lot of these individuals who basically like turned their backs on each other and on the like individuals like myself who were just here to help, to raise awareness. I'm still raising awareness about Standing Rock, still talking about it to this day. You know, still trying to tell about the importance of clean drinking water, that every home should stop drinking tap, or at least put your tap water through really, really good filters like Berkey filters, Nikin, Kangen filters. Even the Life straws are better, you know. I'm still doing this work. But being that next year is the last dance, we might do the last drop. I don't know. I'm not sure. Right now, this is me basically saying, if I don't get the support like we used to have for the drop of water, I don't have individuals asking me, coming to me and asking me to gift them the drop of water because they were at Standing Rock, or they want to purchase a bunch to give to other water protectors that they know that were up at Standing Rock, to be able to get them the drop of water at wholesale, so then they can retail them and sell them, so they can make basically create it as a fundraiser for their own cause. Like, until that all starts happening again, I'm pretty much going to be putting all of my energy into my other glass and allowing the drop of water to evaporate out. What that means, though, is when water evaporates, where does it go? It just goes to the clouds, right? And it comes back again. So maybe one day the drop of water will come back again. Or maybe when people ask, I'll just have the drop of water on me, but maybe I won't be putting my love and my energy and my time and my effort into it as much as I have been since 2017. Well, actually, since November of 2016. So I'm just putting that out there, letting you guys know the fillers. I'm gonna let you guys go. We're an hour and a half in. I was hoping to keep this at an hour, to keep it short and sweet. An hour short and sweet. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Pro Cannabis Warrior, thank you much. Jadette McSwag, first time ever coming in. I appreciate you. And if you want to like this video, that's up to you. If you want to subscribe, that's up to you. But when we do reach 2K subscribers, we will be doing more giveaways, and I will think about how I want to do a giveaway for the hot air balloons. Maybe what we'll do is we'll do like a hot air balloon trivia or something cool like that, you know? We'll just like do some questions. I've got all kinds of books on ballooning facts and trivia and stuff like that. It would be cool, right? Like, when was the very first Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta, right? Where was it held? How many balloons participated? What were the pilots' names? You know, we can do all that stuff all day. And yeah, we might get some winner chicken dinners sent out. All right. Thank you so much. This is the drop of water. This is what we've been doing, gifting out the water drops to water protectors from all over the world, including celebrities, including politicians like Deb Haaland, who sat in the White House for several years. The drop of water has, it's known. It is known. People know who I am. And I'm sure I'm being watched. Water's life. Every drop counts. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Love and blessings. I'm out.